Tonight, Jeff Semple.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. In places where COVID-19 is making a comeback, Canadian health officials blame the bar scene and house parties, where crowds cram indoors, drinking alcohol and ignoring physical distancing, which is why a weekend bash in Brampton, west of Toronto, is sparking a national outcry. Police say they broke up a house party with about 200 guests. Organizers allegedly tried to hide the gathering by setting up barriers and hiring private security to park cars nearby.
You got a bunch of yahoos again that number one, hold the party, and then a whole bunch of 200 yahoos show up to hold the party. Like, guys, what? Like, man, come on. Like, what don't you get? Like, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Now, the man who allegedly threw that party told Global News that he only invited a couple dozen people, but that more showed up after guests posted about the event online. He's now been fined $880 and is also facing bylaw charges with a maximum penalty of $100,000. And in Alberta, public health officials are sounding the alarm after a major spike in cases. 304 more people have now tested positive since Friday, and 8 more have died.
As we see in the case numbers, the curve is no longer flat in Alberta. We all need to assess our own lives for where we are at risk of spreading or contracting the virus.
And case numbers are also rising fast in Saskatchewan. 31 more people tested positive, 22 of whom are from Hutterite communities. Saskatchewan's premier says that in the coming days, public health officials will visit every Hutterite community in the province to offer testing and ensure that public health orders are being followed. And key to getting those community outbreaks under control is contact tracing. And soon there could be an app for that. After weeks of delays, Canada is now testing a new national smartphone app to help with contact tracing. Heather Yourex-West looks at whether the technology deserves a download.
In a crowd of strangers, a single case of COVID-19 can spread like wildfire, and the chains of infection can be difficult to trace.
If a contact tracer calls you on the phone and says, you got a positive test, who were you near? I don't know who I was next to on the TTC. I don't know. I don't know who I was at if I was at a bar and restaurant.
This scenario is exactly what has been facing contact tracers in recent weeks. Outbreaks at bars, restaurants, parties, and gyms have led to a surge in infections. But where a person's memory fails, technology could help. That's the premise behind contact tracing apps.
The way it works is your phone emits a signal over Bluetooth, and it's kind of like a secret key.
Canada is now beta testing an app based on technology developed by Google and Apple. It can run in the background of smartphone devices without draining the battery, a key reason why Alberta's app launched earlier this year appears to be falling short. The app tracks who you come into contact with, not where you've been.
I'm excited about the potential of the notification app. I think we should be really clear that it's not about contact tracing exactly, but rather notifying people who have the app downloaded on their phone if they've been in close contact with someone who eventually becomes diagnosed with COVID-19.
The launch of this app has been delayed in Canada, but experts say that's not necessarily a bad thing.
The one sure way of making not people use it is if there's bugs or it's not user friendly. So I think it's really important that they take their time to get it right at the very beginning.
Success depends on widespread adoption. An Oxford study found that 60% of people need to use the apps or they don't work. But that concentration doesn't necessarily have to be population-wide.
If you have 60% adoption, but it's 100% among the young population, and the young adults who go out and about are the ones that sort of interact with each other, then that may be beneficial.
It's why, with a growing number of young people heading out to socialize, now might just be the best time for Canada's app to launch. Heather Yourex-West, Global News, Calgary.